I died for 5 minutes. What I saw changed my life forever. There are moments in life that feel ordinary until they suddenly become the moment everything changes. I used to think life was simple. You live, you breathe, you struggle, you hope, and eventually you disappear. People die every day, and the world moves on, as if existence itself is a brief spark in a storm, flickering for a moment before the winds of time carry it away. I never questioned it deeply. I never imagined I would stand at the edge of existence and see what waits beyond the curtain we all fear to touch. I never expected to die. Not that day, not that way. Not like someone who simply closes their eyes and slips into silence. Yet death came for me gently, quietly, without warning, as if it had always been waiting for the moment I would stop resisting and surrender. It started with a pressure in my chest, the kind I ignored too many times because life was busy. Responsibilities never stop, and pain always feels like something we can push through. I had deadlines, messages, worries, expectations. Who has time to think about dying? I was walking, breathing air without realizing how precious it was, thinking thoughts that felt important but meant nothing in the face of what was coming. Then the pressure tightened, sharp, heavy, like fingers reaching through my ribs and squeezing my heart from the inside. My breath stuttered. The world tilted. My legs weakened. In one single moment, the ordinary shattered and I fell, not to the ground, but out of the life I knew. They say your life flashes before your eyes when you die. Mine didn't. What flashed was a feeling, a sudden, shocking realization that everything I once thought mattered was slipping away like water through fingers, impossible to hold. I tried to breathe, but air felt thick like drowning in warm water. My arms felt heavy, useless. My hearing faded into a low hum, like the world was underwater. My heartbeat slowed, each thump distant, softer, fading like footsteps walking away down a long hallway. My vision blurred until the world dissolved into shadows. Then came silence, heavy, complete, absolute silence. And then I wasn't there anymore. I didn't feel my body. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel fear. I didn't feel anything human. I just was. A presence without shape. A thought without voice, floating in darkness that felt nothing like emptiness and everything like peace. It was a velvet stillness, warm and infinite, not a void but a beginning. I was surrounded by a quiet so perfect it felt alive, as if silence itself was breathing around me. I didn't wonder where I was. I didn't panic. There was no confusion. My mind wasn't thinking, it was knowing. A knowing that felt older than time. Slowly, the darkness softened like dawn melting into the horizon. A glow began, faint, gentle, growing with purpose. It didn't shine at me. It expanded around me, as if it had always been there, waiting for my eyes to finally see it. The light didn't hurt, didn't blind. It comforted. It held a warmth deeper than fire, a peace heavier than gravity. It wrapped around me like an embrace I did not realize I had missed my entire life. I felt weightless, free from every burden I had ever carried. The anxieties, the disappointments, the guilt, the pain of being human. Every sorrow I'd buried inside me evaporated like fog under sunlight. I felt whole, complete, enough. For the first time in my existence, I felt I belonged. Then awareness came. Not like waking up, but like remembering something ancient. A presence surrounded me, vast, loving, familiar in a way I could never explain with human words. It was not a person, not a voice, but a consciousness older than time, watching me not with eyes but with knowing. I felt seen, and the feeling was overwhelming. Not frightening, not intimidating, but healing. Imagine being understood completely. Every mistake forgiven, every scar acknowledged, every sorrow embraced without judgment. That is what it felt like. From the golden warmth, shapes began to form, gentle silhouettes first, then clearer, faces I knew, faces I loved, faces I lost. My grandmother appeared before me exactly as I remembered her before illness dimmed her smile. Bright eyes, warm skin, that loving expression she used to give me when I climbed into her arms as a child. Next to her stood my childhood friend, who had left the world far too soon, smiling with the innocence he always had, untouched by the exhaustion of life. I didn't cry. I didn't ache. Their presence didn't hurt. It filled me with a belonging I never felt on earth. They didn't speak, but their souls spoke directly to mine. Words without language, love without sound. They told me I was safe. They told me I was loved. They told me I was home. Behind them flowed a river, not water, but light, shimmering like stars dancing in liquid form. It moved with purpose, glowing currents carrying emotions instead of waves. Joy, sorrow, relief, hope, prayers whispered by living hearts, memories born from breath and broken goodbyes. Souls moved within it like sparks rising from fire, each one carrying a story, a journey, a life. I understood without thinking. This river connected existence itself. Souls flowed through it to learn, to grow, to love, to understand, to return. Nothing was lost. Nothing ended. Every life mattered. Every tear meant something. Every breath was recorded in the tapestry of creation. Then the presence, the one that felt like the center of all knowing, came closer, not by movement, but by awareness. It embraced me without form, filling me with a peace so deep I could drown in it willingly. And it asked me one silent question. Do you see? But it wasn't asking for my answer. It was reminding me of a truth my soul already knew, but my human mind had forgotten. We are not bodies. We are journeys wearing flesh. We come to earth not to suffer, but to evolve. Life is not punishment. Life is a lesson in love. Then came the second question, and this one held weight, held choice, held eternity within it. Do you want to stay? And in that moment, I felt everything. The peace, the warmth, the love, the safety, the completion of being home. It was so tempting to let go, to dissolve into the light forever, to rest without fear or grief or longing. For a moment, I wanted that eternity more than anything. But then, like a distant whisper through fog, I felt something tugging me back, faint, fragile, like the last thread of a tapestry unraveling. Life. My life. I saw my mother crying, not the memory, but the present, her hands trembling as she begged doctors not to give up on me. I saw the dreams I had abandoned, the apologies I never made, the kindness I could still give, the love I had yet to live fully. I saw my future children who didn't exist yet, but whose souls waited for me. I saw meaning unfinished. I understood then, heaven is not escape. Heaven is reward, and then I was not done earning mine. Love unlived calls us back. Purpose unfulfilled pulls like gravity stronger than planets. My soul whispered softly, not a command, not a plea, just truth, not yet. And with that, the light trembled. The warmth faded. The river dimmed. The present stepped back like a parent letting go of a child learning to walk. I fell, not down, not through space, but through existence itself. The peace shattered into sound, into pain, into gravity, into breath. I heard voices yelling, hands pressing, a machine screaming warnings. My chest burned as life exploded back into me. My lungs convulsed, air stabbed through like knives. I gasped violently, choking on existence. My eyes flew open and the world looked wrong, too heavy, too loud, too sharp. The doctors cheered. Someone cried. And I sobbed not because I lived, but because I left heaven to return to pain. For days I could barely speak. I felt empty and full, broken and rebuilt, alive and yet aching for a home beyond skies. I walked slower. I breathed with awareness. I looked at people not as strangers, but souls on their own journey, carrying invisible wounds. I forgave without being asked. I appreciated without reason. Every sunrise felt like a gift. Every heartbeat felt borrowed. Every moment felt sacred. I died for 5 minutes. I left the world and saw what waits beyond the veil of fear and flesh. And I learned this. Life is not measured in years, but in love. Pain does not destroy. It shapes. Relationships are not accidents. They are lessons. Nothing we lose is gone. It only changes form. Death is not the end. It is return. Now I live differently. I speak gently. I hold hands longer. I listen with my soul instead of my ears. I love more and complain less. I fear nothing because I have seen the place where fear dies and truth begins. And someday, when my time truly comes, and not by mistake, not by interruption, but by destiny, I will walk back into that light not with longing but with readiness. Because now I know, the universe is not waiting to take us away from life. It is waiting to welcome us home after we have learned how to truly live. Until that day, every heartbeat is a blessing. Every breath is a miracle. Every second is a chance to love deeper. Forgive faster. Live louder. I died for 5 minutes, and today, I am more alive than ever.